Hey, good morning. Tim Young, BSMPA, born June 5th, coming up next month. When 6606 crossed the Christian calendar and the beast reared its ugly head for so many of us TI in private. My birthday just happened to be a day before. That's when they named them One Horn, which, there's a lot more that I've learned since that initial leading or misleading about the beast system that has a lot more to do with people still perping me in Hillsboro and nobody sending on pain of death squads to keep quiet hours than a ex-president. We all get old, we all get sick, we die. Anyways, satanic misdirection. It's horrible. Here's an example. The day of or the day after September the 11th, which was a planned false flag event to get us into war and that make us give up rights with the Patriot Act and other Satanism, enable the beast system further, overstretch the power of the federal government, over the top of home policing powers that were envisioned by the founding fathers to avoid mistakes of repeating history, to always remain with the state. Satanic misdirection. It was like 12, 13, 14 trillion dollars that soon after the event of September the 11th, which was staged, and those were electromagnetic form perpetrators sleeping in their own shit in other locations, the spiritually unclean. But as we've described, it's synthetic telepathy, electromagnetic form emanations, and then their bodies are laying in their own feces in other locations. So the EMF perpetrator gangs made September the 11th happen. And then it was like a day and a half later, the Pentagon reported like 14 trillion or something in lost money or otherwise wasted or unaccounted for corruption. And so that's an example of satanic misdirection. You have this massive event of September the 11th, the false flag, and then our national military releases that they lost like $14 million. So it's like, look over here, look over here, look over here, and then, oh yeah, and then we can't account for 14 trillion American taxpayer dollars. That's satanic misdirection. Another example, electromagnetic form perpetrator gangs setting up Wi-Fis throughout Hillsboro now around my domicile at the Nut House. Nano U Portland has showed up, Young Money 2.4. So for using Wi-Fi systems in this gang stalking terrorism, I may need to get a little bit more insulated. So I'm trying to get my Tesla coil redelivered. It's so effective for TI, they interrupted the delivery of it, my perps. So satanic misdirection, September the 11th. Everybody's distracted with the terrorism, and those that perped the terrorism, directly and indirectly, claimed like $14 trillion in losses while everybody was distracted. That's satanic misdirection. Or like a TI myself, having gang stalkers try to steal my identity. Like, no, this EMF perpetrator's the real Tim, and then the real Tim is an EMF perpetrator. Like, he's the reason why 1.5 million Americans are targeted individuals. That's another example of satanic misdirection. Like, I'll be productive throughout the course of a day, and then through the night time, like, gang stalkers and other through this virtual drives off my equipment, tunneling through my Wi-Fi. They steal my material. They've even tried to steal my identity in a lot of ways, and recently have tried to cover up the black hole portal exits that Wes Penray and I have recovered it's for me the result of 2,400 years of Buddhist prayers that all sentient beings be free from suffering, being able to exit reincarnation systems at and after moments of death, and for efforts to cover that up that information up. These psychopaths, sociopaths, and narcissists should really be found where their real bodies are and killed in real life, not just an electromagnetic form on pain of death, and then they wake up in their real bodies. No, that's worse than firing nuclear weapons. So the satanic misdirection of, is it Tim or is it an EMF perpetrator, Tim? That's satanic misdirection. Like like I'm over here, like September the 11th happens, and they're like, or no, like they're like September the 11th happens with the EMF gang stalkers perping 1.5 million Americans. Anyway, so I could do a better analogy, but satanic misdirection is being used on me constantly. Neurolinguistic programming is being used on me constantly. Efforts to falsely accuse a TI of perping, that's been pretty ramped up. And these are idiots that have my remote neural monitoring. Everybody in the electromagnetic form bandwidth. Oh, another example of satanic misdirection. Like everybody in the EMF bandwidth is expendable. And they faked a compaction of feces on me in a satanic illusion so that sensors would think that I was an EMF broadcast of myself who needed to stop broadcasting so he could go take a crap in his mortal body. Anyways, another example of satanic misdirection. I'm in a commitment here and getting out of a psych ward in Vegas. And for a moment, the judge was an EMF perpetrator or an EMF perpetrator the whole time and was practicing satanic misdirection, saying, oh, they're better off raped in cages than the evac opportunity that I've helped corroborate for other Earthlings. And how is that a satanic misdirection? If you go into the EMF bandwidth and you are getting raped in a cage, you can wake up in your own body in another location where you're really at and be fine. They're expendable. They shouldn't have, that they do stuff there that they can't do normally or think they can't get away with in regular corporeal existence. And then from that advantage of being able to EMF perp, they can do things like start September the 11th. Those are the ones expendable. So the satanic misdirection of, they were prioritizing the judge in the courtroom being an EMF perp that overthrew the court in Sin City for individual hearing, was practicing satanic misdirection, prioritizing hot air, electromagnetic form perpetrating, that if they get killed or whatever, they wake up in their real body in another location over black Swiss cheese hole portal exits out of incarnating here ever again. So has the beast system electromagnetic form perpetrating Satanism overthrown the U.S. judiciary? Yes, in a fucking heartbeat. And that's another example of satanic misdirection, emphasizing what's not of value and ignoring or taking advantage of what is of value. So, good morning.